How to get the ultimate revenge on the narcissist. Here's what a lot of victims don't understand. Revenge on a narcissist isn't in the form of success, because it still ties you to them emotionally. Real success is about freeing yourself from their control, by healing and living a fulfilling life on your own terms. True vengeance isn't about retaliation. It's about reclaiming your power and proving that the narcissist has no control over you. In the relationship or family dynamic, narcissists often had significant control over you, emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even financially or physically. They manipulated situations to keep you dependent on them, undermining your confidence and making you feel powerless. The reason narcissists had so much control over you was because your focus was on their needs, desires and wants, often at the expense of your own. They conditioned you to prioritize them, making you believe that your worth is tied to how well you serve or please them. Narcissists thrive in this dynamic because it keeps you emotionally invested in them, while they give little to nothing in return. They create an environment where you feel responsible for their happiness, constantly seeking their approval or avoiding their punishment. Over time, this drains you and makes you lose sight of your own needs, goals and identity. When you were entangled with these narcissists, you based your life around them. Your thoughts, decisions and even your sense of self revolved around their needs, moods and expectations. Over time, this programming made you lose touch with your own identity, as your life became a reflection of their wants rather than your own desires. They conditioned you to be predictable by training you to react in ways that serve their needs. Over time, they learned your triggers, weaknesses and emotional patterns, allowing them to manipulate you with ease. This is why they don't flinch much. They already know how you'll respond, because they've programmed you to behave in ways that benefit them. They've seen these patterns of behaviour time and time again from you, and they are also stuck in these same patterns. They operate on a rigid cycle of manipulation, control and self-preservation, not because they want to, but because they have to. Their cocky, inflated self-image is nothing more than a defense mechanism, covering up deep-seated insecurity and self-doubt. At their core, narcissists have an extremely fragile ego. They can't handle genuine self-reflection, because facing their true selves would shatter their carefully constructed illusion of superiority. Instead of acknowledging their flaws, they project them onto others, especially those closest to them. That's why they made you feel insecure, unworthy or never good enough, because that's how they feel deep inside. They couldn't tolerate their own self-doubt, so they dumped it onto you. They made you question your worth, because they secretly questioned theirs. This is why narcissists never truly change. Their entire defense mechanism is built on avoiding their real emotions. Instead of healing, they continue the same toxic behaviours, seeking new people to control and manipulate. They may seem powerful on the surface, but deep down they got emotionally stunted, trapped in an endless cycle of self-protection. The ultimate revenge on a narcissist is to attain the one thing they will never have, and that is emotional independence. When you reach a place where the narcissist no longer affects your emotions, thoughts or decisions, you take back the power they once had over you. Narcissists thrive on controlling your reactions. They want to see you upset, chasing their approval, or feeling worthless without them. If you stop reacting, if you become indifferent to them, it's their worst nightmare. Because you're denying them the validation that they crave. You no longer care what they think, say, or do. Their existence no longer influences your mood. And this all begins by practicing mindfulness and emotional regulation. It will strengthen your self-love and confidence. You will believe in yourself again by recognizing your worth without needing their validation. And you will break the cycle by never letting someone like them control you again. You used to be always available, always ready to meet their needs, always putting them first. Narcissists trained you to be their emotional servant, responding instantly to their demands, crises, or whims. They created a dynamic where you anticipated their needs before your own. You dropped everything when they called. You walked on eggshells to keep them happy. And you felt guilty if you didn't comply. But the truth is, this was never about love or mutual respect. It was about control. They took your kindness, loyalty, and empathy and turned them into weapons to keep you hooked. This conditioning kept you in line. It made you submissive and caused you to prioritize their needs before your own. So you have to become rebellious. But not in a reckless or destructive sense. You have to rebel against the conditioning. You have to not respond when they want you to respond. You have to stand them up by refusing to show up for their games, manipulation, and control. Don't react as suspected. Don't chase after them. Don't seek their approval. And don't give them access to your emotions. When you stand them up, when you stop playing their game, they're left with nothing. And that's when they truly feel powerless. Because then they've lost control over you as their source of supply. When you act indifferent, they may do something to strike back. But this is actually proof that you're winning. Their reaction shows that they're losing control, and they hate that. And you can respond to their retaliation by staying calm and detached, going grey rock or no contact, and by not giving in. Because if you are limiting your interaction with a narcissist, and you're not afraid to walk away and leave it at that, you're starting to take the power back. Because narcissists thrive in your attention, whether it's love, anger, fear, or even frustration. The best revenge is to live as if they never existed. When a narcissist sees a source of supply slipping away without any control to bring it back in, it's their worst nightmare. They get used to manipulating, guilt tripping, or love bombing people back into their web. But when none of that affects you, they feel completely powerless, and it's a form of revenge. Because you're becoming deliberately rebellious, and there's nothing they can do about it. The narcissist experiences a massive contrast between the old, obedient version of you and the new rebellious version, who no longer plays by their rules, and that's what drives them crazy. The greatest revenge is to live authentically, freely, and confidently, because that's exactly what the narcissist tried to take from you. They belittle others to elevate themselves, making you feel small so they can feel superior. But when you break free and embrace your true self, it completely destroys their illusion of power. You prove their tactics failed, and now they can't take credit for your success. You no longer need their approval, and your confidence exposes their insecurity, because narcissists need others to feel powerful. So when you become self-sufficient and you no longer play their game, you leave them powerless and irrelevant. That's the ultimate revenge. Because you take away their power to control or define your identity, and that's devastating for a narcissist. They need to shape how you see yourself, because that's how they keep control over you. But without your need for their approval, they have no hold over you. When they see you fully embracing who you are without their influence, It diminishes their power completely. You've escaped their control, and there's nothing they can do about it. That's the ultimate revenge. Before, you were being gaslighted and conditioned to adopt an identity that suited them, not you. They manipulated you into becoming the version of yourself that benefited their needs, not your true self. They lied to you, because the truth would give you the freedom to make choices that serve you, not them. It controlled your perception, limited your choices, kept you dependent on them for guidance, and prevented you from leaving. They made you feel unworthy, so you wouldn't realize you deserved better. They downplayed your strengths, so you wouldn't gain the confidence to leave. They twisted the truth about themselves, so you wouldn't see them as toxic. They controlled the narrative, so you wouldn't question their authority. You need to become more of who you truly are, not who they conditioned you to be. The narcissist wanted you to fit into a role that served their needs. But breaking free means rediscovering and embracing your authentic self, which breaks their control, restores your self-worth, gives you true freedom, and makes you unpredictable. It's not always about dramatic confrontations or grand acts of defiance. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is through subtle, quiet changes that show you're no longer under their control. When you stop giving them your full attention, it unsettles them, because they assume you must be distracted by something or someone else. Since they thrive on being the center of your world, anything that suggests otherwise triggers jealousy, insecurity, and paranoia. They feel replaced. They lose control over your emotions. They start overthinking, and they feel unimportant. And this is why you will start to see their narcissistic rage, because now they're really losing control, not because of something they did, but because of the effects something else is having on you. When you break all of the predicted patterns, they're not just thinking that you figured them out. They see it as though something or someone else is pulling you away from them, and this hits them hard. It hits them harder than anything else, because narcissists thrive on feeling superior. They believe they're the most important person in your life, so they expect to get your attention. But when you pull away and break their control, it forces them to question their own worth. They assume someone better must be taking their place, which fuels jealousy, paranoia, and insecurity, even if no one else is involved. It shakes their grandiosity. They've convinced themselves they're superior and irresistible, so seeing you happy without them contradicts their entire false self-image, which may cause them to spiral into rage, desperation, or attempts to hoover you back. This is where your power lies, in rediscovering your passions, interests, and authentic self. The narcissists try to shape your identity around their needs, but the moment you start living for yourself, you take back everything they try to steal. When you focus on your own happiness, they lose their ability to mutilate you. You no longer need their approval, which leaves them powerless. It proves they weren't as important as they thought, when they once believed that they were the center of your world. But when you build a life without them, it shatters their illusion of superiority. Instead of being the person they once controlled, you become independent, strong, and unpredictable. Narcissists hate it when they can't predict or influence your choices. It restores your confidence and self-worth. You start to remember who you were before they made you doubt yourself. You build a life based on what makes you happy, not what keeps them satisfied. If you were the reliable one who showed up whenever they wanted, you take back your power by stopping that pattern completely. Instead of centering your life around them by showing up to events and gatherings, prioritize yourself. This proves that they no longer hold power over you. And anyway, maintaining any connection with a narcissist, no matter how small, just gives them access to your emotional energy. As long as you're in their orbit, they will find ways to extract attention, reactions, and control. Cutting them off is empowering for you and devastating for them. For you, it's freedom and reclamation of power. No more emotional drains. You reclaim your peace. You stop being a source of supply, and you become untouchable. While for them, it's a narcissistic injury. They lose control. They feel powerless. They feel rejected and unimportant. And they don't get closure. This is why no contact is so effective. Just block and mute them on social media. It's one of the most powerful steps you can take, because it cuts off their ability to manipulate, provoke, or monitor you. When you refuse to please their game, they lose control, because now you're no longer a willing participant in the game, and there's nothing fun about the game anyway. It's not a fair fight. It's a rigged system designed to drain you while fueling them. Narcissists thrive on conflict, drama, and competition, because that's how they maintain control and feed their fragile ego. They will lie, manipulate, twist the truth, and gaslight. There are no rules. They enjoy chaos, you don't. The longer you engage, the more energy they steal. And even if you prove them wrong, they'll move the goalposts. If you stand up for yourself, they'll play the victim. There's no winning, because they'll never let you win. They just want you stuck in their web. And as long as you're reacting, they still have control. So the ultimate power move is to stop playing the game. No arguing, no explaining, no competing, and no feeding their ego. The moment you refuse to engage, they lose everything, and you get your freedom back. Narcissists trap all of their victims in a cycle through a need for validation by having them constantly seek their approval or acknowledgement. You get stuck because you're wanting you or everything you did to mean something. It did mean something, and they know it. But they will never let you know it. If they were to acknowledge you and how good you were, it would give the power away. It would empower you, and the moment you realize it for yourself, you don't need them anymore. You can walk away without regrets, without guilt, and without ever looking back. True freedom comes when you stop seeking any recognition, validation, or response from them. Narcissists keep you trapped by making you crave their approval, attention, or even just an acknowledgement that you mattered. But the moment you let go of that need, you reclaim your power and break free completely. And once you've had this type of effect on them, you will see them go to the bottom of the barrel to replace you, and you may wonder how they ended up with someone like that. But it's because you invalidated them. You stopped giving them your time and attention, and it broke them. But just as they never told you your worth, they will never let you know how your departure affected them. But you will see it in their actions. They need someone who won't challenge them. They can't handle someone with boundaries. They want people who will tolerate their abuse. They fear being alone, and they need fast supply. They want someone who they can feel superior to, and they want to provoke you, They hope you will see their downgrade and think that you must not have meant much. But in reality, their new supply is proof of how much you outgrew them. And behind the scenes, the cycle will repeat. Their new victim will suffer the same manipulation. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Hit the subscribe button to receive the notifications. If you would like to support the channel, you can donate at paypal.me/Narc Survivor. You can book a one-on-one with me on my website. It's narcsurvivor.co.uk. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.